Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Esports Universe 5th episode today. This is the week 5. We are talking today, as you can see on your screen, about the future of CoD. We're joined by Alex Halley and Joey Gizblows. Welcome to both of you. Thank you for joining us today as well. Obviously, you guys have had a bit of a busy week in terms of podcasts as well. You were on the Let's Talk one previously, I think Joey was definitely. So we'll get right in at the deep end. We've got a few questions this week. There's what some of the Esports Universe have provided us with, and then a few that we're going to be making up ourselves, and we're just going to get into general discussion. We may not cover every point, but we're definitely going to try and have a big long one this week. All right then, where do we start? Joined by my casual and our regular host, Brody. He's bearded today and at home. So,
staying that way.
Well, welcome home. I'm bearded also. So, all right then. We'll start with. Where should we go? The future of CoD as an esport for the time being. Let's focus it in initially on the youth scene. Let's think about it from a player's perspective. So let's say the question that the Esports Universe guys asked for us here was that do we think that most players in the current scene that we're involved in as of age restriction, do we think that a lot of them play it just for the crack, or are they actually looking to make a career out of this? Are they looking to make it professional, or are they just here for shits and gigs really?
I'd say that a lot of them have an aspiration to take it further, but they don't really have like.
There's only a handful who actually fucking want to go pro. Like if you actually try and learn the game, if you look at shit teams like OBN who just don't try at all to get improve, then you get fucking
straight in.
It's proof like they don't try and get improve at all. Fucking, and if they do, they just make a roster split, or they fucking argue with each other and just can't get past an argument. And fucking, we look at us and CTIG, and fucking we try and improve as a team, and fucking we play as much as we can at the start of a game. Then obviously fucking 18+ teams get weird egos against under 18s, then just makes us play fucking worse later on in the stage and fucks everyone over in the long run, or lands and everything.
Yeah, so I mean, it's only really this year that a lot of 18+ players have come into our 8s and made an effort, really, which I think is promising.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it helps everyone because all us under 18s want to do is play CoD and play against better people.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, there's just them wanting to play more CoD.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that leads on actually from a point that we were at with Insight a few weeks ago, the difference between 18+ players and the youth scene itself. Now, is that, would you say, like an actual stylistic and skill-based thing, or would you say it's like more of an attitude issue?
No,
or,
without
or
a doubt. You mean like the way we play the game is different?
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt, they have much more method to their game.
Much more strategy.
Yeah. Whereas our teams are more like just runabouts.
Yeah, individual plays. Like what you said before.
For instance, when like me and Joey played a Money 8s with literally 6 other 18+ players that are at like a higher level, and after 2 maps, I messaged Joey because we were on other teams, and I said to him, this is like playing a different game. It's incredible how different play styles are, and it's
how much you learn from fucking like 5 maps. It was just shitty money where you just think people would just piss about.
After 5 or 7 maps of Money 8s, I learnt more than I did in like 3 months of playing the under 18 leagues. Because unless we're playing against Bulldog, we get on, and it's basically just keeping our shot warm. We don't really have to call out, and there's no real like effort that needs to be put in, unless it's against Bulldog, obviously.
Yeah.
And you say that's because you do something different to the other teams. Like even OBN don't have that same level of tactical skill or whatever that extra layer of gameplay that you guys have.
I don't know. I think we've said. I've said to Joe before as well. We spoke about it. It's a consistency thing. When we play OBN, there's always one of them having an absolute fucking stinker of a game.
Right.
Whereas whenever we play Bulldog, it's usually me that has the below average game. But whereas against like OBN, we're all consistently just.
There's the fact they can't get past an argument within the team. They have like fucking Brad's like they've asked to have Brad for a while now, about a month and a half or something. He stayed loyal to them, but because he wants to improve, but they literally can't fucking improve with each other because they can't get past one little argument within the team. So that just fucks our competition up. Then it's just left with 2 people just fucking fighting each other. I
think it's because it's only really Johnny that knows what it's like to be in a proper team from when he was with me, Gizmo, and Disarray. And
he's half a problem.
he doesn't really know how to like. I think he's learned all of this stuff from our old team that went to the FCO, and he hasn't really. He's tried his best to like make his team similar, if you know what I mean. And he doesn't really know how to go about it. That's just what
not going about it the right way.
That's what it looks like, because he gets really frustrated. Whenever he loses, he gets really frustrated and starts talking to us about it. And then so it's clear that he has an idea of how he wants his team to play, and it just isn't like, I don't think he's with the right set of players to do it, and through his own fault really, because we all know what Johnny is like or can be like. Like it's like it's the same with like our teams, mainly us Cryptic. We've had to bring in a fourth from like OBN to like sort of not so much give a chance to, because there's loads of players that are more than capable, but like bring them onto a better team and like sort of bring them through.
Right.
As obviously I did to Joey a couple years ago. Is why he's here
throwing
today.
it back a while.
Funny.
But yeah, okay.
We'll
go on.
We'll bring these players through like we did to Johnny. We like when we teamed with Johnny and took him to the event, I had quite a lot of fun teaming with him. He was actually a good teammate. It's just he's probably more scapegoated than everyone else because he's Johnny W.
Yeah.
And with Henry was a really good player as well. He just didn't really fit into our team.
Yeah.
At all.
Didn't make an effort to get fucking
we
mates like this. I
didn't really click, but with Fusions now, I think Fusions is really a really promising pickup. He's a really good player and he's really open to learn.
I've been wanting to play with him since December. Fucking.
Yeah. And it's these sort of players that like are the future. If any player with that raw talent that wants to come through and learn and open to like come through the ranks is the future really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, would you guys say that there is a potential for a team of players? Because at the moment, I know you guys feel that beyond Bulldog and Cryptic, nobody could really touch you guys in terms of the.
I think there's promise, like that TD team.
There's certainly promise there, but like there's still a lot of work to do. There's like a huge void in between it, like there's a massive gap in terms of skill and attitude. Would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I think everyone can shoot a gun straight. It's just whether you want, like I said at my very first point, when I came on there, like there's a difference between fucking just coming on and shooting a gun or trying to learn the game.
Yeah.
So like, the first 3 months of this game, our team was trying to learn the game like as much as we could, but then that's when we can't get better practice than one team. And unfortunately, when I was on CTIC, Bulldog didn't scrim, so we were just sat there just scrimming.
We didn't even scrim. We really didn't scrim.
Yeah, we just sat there.
When we first picked up Henry, we played quite a bit, and then after like a week or two, there's just nothing really to do. Is there? You get on, you play a league game, and then you go off and do your other stuff.
Yeah.
So there's not much room for improvement there.
So, do you guys think then, in terms of the youth leagues, that so you mentioned Team Descent, they've got quite a bit of potential at least. Do you think that they could potentially be there with you guys, if considering you stay on in the youth leagues or whatever? So, Cryptic and Bulldog stay for the youth leagues for about a year, maybe 2, maybe 3, whatever. You stay on for as long as you do.
I mean,
do you think that there's potential for potentially like TD to come up and at least challenge you guys? Take you down a couple of series or another set of players potentially, like a new team with Henry, Johnny W, and whatever. Do you think they have the potential to still be on the level that you guys are right now?
I mean, what was it? You turn every player apart from me in the top 2 teams in Bulldog and CTIC turn at 18, except for Moon, in like
a couple months,
like 3-4 months. So it's literally me left. So
Jed's the latest, and he's June the 10th. Detain is the latest.
So within a year, it'll just be me playing, and I'll probably play with someone like Henry or something, because I'm boys with him, I like him, he's a good kid. So, yeah, like, I don't know, maybe for like years' time, it'll be like my team against TD or something, I don't know.
And there'll be the shift on, Yeah,
because this will probably be our last season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this will probably... This probably
what season is in, like season 2 of this year will be the last? Okay, cool.
Because as soon as I turn 18, I know Detain's taking the summer off. Going to America, and Keza and Ibiano are
turn 18.
They have a Spanish team. They're doing their thing in Spain, so I assume they'll follow through with that. And then I think I might take a crack at 18 plus, see if the opportunities are.
No, you and Will, because he turns 18 next month.
Disarray will have a crack at it, and then. And then after that, I think if it doesn't go through, then I'm just going to spend the summer being 18.
Yeah.
The only reason that I really would play these leagues is to like maintain a level of playing. Apart from these leagues, there really isn't anything else to do apart from get on and play a series of money every day.
Which kind of is scrim. So.
But do you guys not think it's worth it staying on in these leagues just to win money? I mean, if you guys are doing well as you are, do you not think that you could pull a team together? Or, for example, Keza and Viano bringing in their new team of Spanish players or whatever, and still playing these leagues and potentially winning them.
Well, that's what James does. Like,
I can't speak for Bulldog,
right?
But I know for a fact this will be our last season.
Yeah.
Because obviously Detain will be going away, Disrael will be going off to his 18 plus teams and giving that a crack. So, they're like I said to George before, when Joey left for Bulldog, I said we might not be playing in the season 2 because we won't play with anyone that's below our standard.
If you're not going to jump into an 18 plus scene, fucking beat first, then there's no point in even trying. Like,
you got to give yourself that full commitment, right?
Yeah, you got to give it time. And if you don't get an offer like at the start, then you got to give it more time. Just try and improve, because at least you got there. Like as soon as you turn 18, the 18 plus teams will stop egoing scrims with like your team or whatnot, so you can get better practice. There's stuff to do, and then you have to build your circle. Like that's one thing under ratings don't do as much now, like which you should do, is build your circle now. So when you turn 18, you have offers left, right, and center, and it's easier to get a foothold in like an 18 plus scene.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's quite rare that someone that's under 18 will turn 18 and just
make that jump,
find his way onto a team just from pure skill. You could really, it's about,
only Alex
about
and
who
Adam.
you know. Yeah.
But
Well, Adam had a
it-
circle, and Alex sort of came through with Adam.
Yeah.
Because he was that good. But I mean, like I think people on your team, Joey, don't really have an 18 plus circle. So
isn't Genesis already 19 or something?
Yeah.
So
that Bulldog team is his circle.
Yeah, he's already had a crack, but it didn't go well or something like that. I don't know if he managed to make the step, or there just wasn't any offers for him on the table at the time, so he came back down.
I didn't really pay attention.
Yeah. Well, I don't really know what happened with James outside him. I don't think he took it as serious as he would like.
Yeah,
I don't think he liked the entire idea of the pro point system.
Yeah.
It is
before it was too late. It was just too many pro points down, so it wasn't really worth it. Which, to be fair, he's probably better off this season doing the youth leagues, because he's clearly winning them and he's making a name for himself through it. So can't knock it. It probably was the best decision after falling behind in pro points, so it's whatever. But because he's established his circle with the Bulldog lot, when they turn 18, that's probably his ticket to competing.
Yeah, well, as we mentioned, though, Keza and Iviano are going to be going off to that Spanish side, so that kind of leaves him for dead, obviously, because Joey's going to be left squandering.
I don't think there'll be. I think that's just.
Is that just a preliminary idea?
Yeah, because in Black Ops 3, I did one of the Spanish leagues with Luti, and went out to one of the events in Barcelona. That was literally because there was nothing else to do. So.
Yeah, I just don't know where things end up standing for Genesis. I think it'll be interesting though, because there's certainly a lot of talent, especially in Search and Destroy. We were talking before we came on stream about that. But let's move this one on a little bit then. So we've spoken about the future of Call of Duty within the COD community, specifically youth. But we can now widen out the scope, as it were, and we can look at Call of Duty as a whole, or look at least the youth leagues as a whole. Now, with where they're currently at, I don't think there's any way that we can say that they're not a marked improvement on last season, or last year at least, in the Infinite Warfare. But where can they go to make them, if anything, more of a cultivating and talent farming opportunity for these 18 plus rosters?
I wouldn't say any of them could be a talent farming ground for the 18 plus rosters, because they really don't pay attention to it. Like if our team were to go on and win Val season 2, and then Bulldog won EEG season 2, no one would really care apart from our little community. It doesn't matter. Like to the 18 plus players, I don't really think they care about what you do online. It's more about turning 18 and going to an event and proving yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's like for the under 18s, like say me, Detain, Gizmo, who have been to events, that doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter about how well you did however many years ago. It's about turning 18
you haven't done it recently.
yeah, it's about turning 18 and reproving yourself.
Right.
So I don't think on these online youth leagues are going to show anything because it's not really showing anything against anyone relatively like good. I mean, us and Bulldog are good teams, but when you compare them to like good 18+ teams, it's like it's a bit unmatched.
Yeah.
So we're not really
there's
proving
still a level to go. You know, you got to ramp it up a bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
There's many levels like that. There's a national circuit level, and then there's a.
So do you think the national circuit teams are like miles better than the youth teams, like the top youth teams?
Well, no, it depends.
Because
like,
to be fair, some youth players have been to the national league.
There's people like the French league. The people in the French league are the shit. Like if you're not in the UK league and you're an English player, no, I don't get what you're doing. Like that's is your only option. Like then there's good. Don't get me wrong, there is good players which should be in the UK league, in like a French league. But I mean the teams in the like French league are just shit. That's like then
right.
You got like a supremacy and like a Millennium roster that isn't particularly good or whatever or anything like that. Like it's just a question of teams that contain people you don't necessarily know and somehow have got backing because of their nationality or something like that. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I think I can't really compare our teams to.
I mean, I'm comparing the national teams to like the league, like the pro league teams. Like there's a big gap there. Where if you were to go to Alex's team, what's Organ under? I can't remember. But you compare them to and you compare them to like the pro league team. There's not as big of a gap. There's a gap there to like Spice and Red obviously, but there's not as big of a gap compared to like a French team.
Right.
So.
Yeah, like Vitality or Epsilon.
Would you really say that Vitality is that far behind?
I haven't seen much of them recently. I just think they're another mind freak, to be honest. Like they're
just neither here nor there.
But yeah, the talent's there. They're just like their own worst enemy.
Yeah.
I feel that.
So in that case, with the national circuit, then you definitely saying that there's a gap between it. But do you think there's even a gap within the national circuit? Is the national circuit unbalanced in any sort of way?
I don't know, because from what I've seen this season,
there's good individual players. Like
right.
There's good individual players in each team. Like I think Jamie's in one of the national circuit teams when
Jamie's in full French. Yeah, Jamie's.
That's what I'm saying, and he can easily get on the English team because he's a good player. But he's stuck in a French league because when like he turned like 18, if that makes sense. Like he didn't really. Everyone had a team at the time, so he couldn't really get into a team or build like.
Yeah, like he got like the wrong end of the bad end of the stick when his team with Revolt, Defrag, and Brain split up.
One spot out or fucking getting into playoffs, whatever, and they obviously.
That's not down to him being bad or anything. Cause he's a really good player. That's literally just really unfortunate that he got the shit end of the stick from it.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's good players in every single like national league. There's not like good teams, if that makes sense.
As for a gap, the only gap I can really talk about is like in the English league because that's what I know most about. And so far this stage, there really isn't that much compared to last season. Because last stage you had like Barrage that didn't win a series, I don't think, and they obviously.
Is that Wizard and is that Avo and
they obviously shouldn't have been there. Whereas now, but that Radix team have come in, Dylan CoD and that. I think they're a promising team and they can do really well.
Passion. People like that.
They're a really good old-fashioned team. They just want to win.
They're trying to win. They're trying to improve.
I think we might have them second round at I-62, so that's fun. I've just got the bracket sent to me for I-62, so we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. The official bracket, that is, I think.
Okay.
So right, we'll carry on. The next point that we had actually kind of builds on that one a little bit. So a couple of weeks ago when we had the Watson's roster playing in that Esports Universe tournament, yeah. So I remember a couple of youth players, like I can't remember who exactly.
It wasn't a couple. It was a lot.
It was a lot of players. Yeah, just all coming out and just saying, why are pro players in this tournament? It's our youth tournament. We're never gonna get better. We're never gonna stand a chance of winning against these guys. What are your views on that? Because personally, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Like
people that need to stop competing. I've said this before.
Yeah,
it's like I don't get it. Like, if good players are willing to play, good teams are willing to play in the leagues, then why turn them away?
Exactly.
It helps.
Why make them feel unwelcome?
There's more teams. Like I get if you're like a top 12 youth team, and you're trying to come up, and obviously you're gonna get hard around 3 or something, and probably lose, and you don't get looked at as much.
It's like I said at the time when
you're improving as a team, more. and like what your placings are showing. So it makes no sense to turn people away. But then, yeah, people just got weird, like egos in the under 18 scene, which makes no sense because we moan at people in the 18+ team having weird egos.
Yeah,
I said this when they lost to Team Descend in the final. They beat us in the semi-final, and they beat that Team Descend when Cryptic was on it in the final, and they lost. And they said, "GG's Watson and Co. At least we won a map."
yeah.
And then
you did as well.
Then I flagged that up on Twitter, and I said, "Well, that's if you're just thankful for winning a map, then you need to really have a look at yourself, because it's if he's gone into the series and he knows he's lost." I don't think I'll ever go into a series and think I've lost already, because that's just not.
That was it. I think it was. It was like Plasnite didn't win a map. The semi-final was between Plasnite and Bedroom Gangsters that we casted.
Yeah, it
Then
wasn't.
there
And
was
Plasma ended up
Bulldog
pulling out
versus-
snipers in Arden Forest.
Bulldog versus Bedroom
Hardpoint.
Gangsters.
Yeah,
that was
yeah, I
ridiculous
remember.
as well. I'm
CTF,
sorry. I've just
sorry.
got to bring that bit up. Like, that's ridiculous. You are being given an opportunity to really
Yeah.
give it. You're literally being hand given. A bracket has given you this opportunity to play against a team that is going to skyrocket your ability in terms of things that you can take from it if you can look at it back. And you're pulling out sniper rifles and trying to trick shot on 20 cents.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's not even that. Like, if you're gonna pull out a sniper rifle, you might as well pull out your sniper and just inspect the game, run around, seeing what they're doing. It's just wasting your time. Like, at least do something useful if you're gonna get raped. Like,
if you want to take it seriously, then make the use out of the opportunity you give them, because
Exactly.
as soon as I played that series in the final against them, and we got completely outplayed on the actual game mode of Hardpoint. We got outplayed. It wasn't just the fact that we didn't make this kill when they rotated better than us, they broke kills better than us, and like it was something that I could go back and watch the VOD straight away and learn from, which is something that I don't usually get to do because we don't play that sort of team. Whereas like when we play against Bulldog, we sort of both have a similar understanding of the game. That's where we're at, and it just comes down to who makes the right kills when. On the respawns, S&D they outmatch us every time, without a doubt. That's because they're so good at S&D. But on the respawns, that's what it comes down to. So when we played Watson's team, it was something I could go back and learn from, which I think that's what sets apart us and Bulldog. Like we learn from when we lose.
Right.
But the teams just take it as the fact, they're just better than us.
Also,
whatever.
we can have well, I won't say arguments. We can have like clashes in game, but it's just like this is my problem with OBN. Like with Johnny, if you have a clash, he thinks it's like a threat towards him or it's a jab at him, and he can't move on for it. It's why he goes like in so many arguments with his teammates and all the time. They just tweet shit about him because he can't move on from an argument, so he just fails there. Like whereas like us lot, like, we can you can have an argument with a teammate about the game, and like 5 minutes later it'll be like forgiven and gotten, and you'll move on.
Yeah.
We understand the difference of having a go at someone and being in a debate about like if
What the
made a
best course of
mistake.
action is or something like exactly.
Yeah, because if you don't have those arguments and have those discussions, you aren't going to become a better team, innit? You don't.
Like you and like I used to argue with you all the time at the start of this game. We used to argue with him about like not rotating or something. Or same with Alex. We used to argue with him all the time. And eventually, when you argue with someone enough, they're gonna understand it and have it in the back of their mind the whole time.
Yeah.
And then they improve. It's like
It's like when we had Johnny on our team, he never really answered back to me or Joey because I think the problem with Johnny is he'll only listen to people he respects.
Right.
And when we teamed with Johnny, he sort of like knew he was on this team so he could learn and become a better player. So whenever we'd speak to him and like because there was a lot of like don't get me wrong, there was a lot of stuff he did wrong and we'd pull him up on it every single time, and it would get to the point where I would start feeling quite bad for it because I know in his mind he's just sat there thinking they're just going on at me all the time, and like that's not good for anyone. That's not good for anyone's like confidence or anything. So, but he as soon as he understands like we only want the best for him because he was our teammate at the time. We wanted him to be as good as he can be, and us to be as good as a team as we can be. So, sometimes we'd have arguments with him, and he'd think we're coming at him on a personal level.
Right.
Whereas we just want what's best for him, and we're trying to improve as a team, and that's the difference. People are thinking it's personal when it's not, which is probably the difference between our top two teams and everybody else. Because a lot of teams don't understand how to approach an issue. They think it just comes down. They bottle it up. They don't say anything, and then eventually they'll get railed one map, and then it will all just come out, and a massive argument will come out, and the team will split, which I think is what happened with OBN. It's quite healthy to have these conversations with your team and have these arguments.
You just got to make sure it doesn't get out of hand, right? That's where you got to make sure you know where to draw the line. I think some people, in my experience playing CS and playing CoD back in the day, was that as kind of a guy who'd take that leadership role on a team, would be some people just don't. They see everything as an attack. They get too defensive, and then it causes debates because then they don't have a decent rebuttal. And they just throw an insult that's completely worthless.
The best players always taking all the criticism.
No, but that, you throw in a few little insults at people, but you just can't take it to heart. You got to know your teammates and your players. I would sit and rip you. I call you fat all the time. He calls me skinny rat or something, and it's just
That's me. Sorry.
Banter with your team, just move get along with each other, and Johnny and that I don't know, their team just can't get along from arguing.
I don't think they're mature enough. Understand.
I definitely think there is a point though. I mean, I remember when I stopped competing, I was about 15 or 16 when I stopped competing. I think it was 15, just about to turn 16, something like that. And I'd had enough of it because I obviously with the sort of level that I was at, being as young as I was, there was so many people who were even younger who were just like, what is even the point in me trying to get through to you idiots? It's just there's a level. I think some people definitely mature faster than others, and I've definitely even matured to the point back then. But it's in comparison to your peers, the maturity that you have to exude in that kind of sense. It's something that I like you say, the OBN players may lack in a regard. And do you think you can attribute that immaturity to be any part of why they don't find the same success, or is it simply a skill and game approach based thing?
Oh no, I don't have no idea. I just think it's a mindset. If you want to get better, you got to mature, not really with age. Because I thought 2 years ago, when Alex and that picked me up, I was a mature little gimp. I used to I don't know, they used to probably just hate me because I used to just waffle shite all the time. I still do now, but I've got better with it, with age. It's just if you want to get better, you just got you got to try and get better. You know what I mean? You got to put work in.
You got to swallow your pride and learn to accept what's wrong. Because obviously it's a big experience thing as well. Because people like me and Detain, we were exposed to 80 more mature teams when we first started competing in AW because of obviously our success throughout the year, and then we've been able to pass that on through our team. So when we picked up Joey in Black Ops 3. The guy was sick. The guy was just an absolutely nuts AR player, and but there were so many things about him that he didn't function in a team well because he was immature. And through playing in so many teams that have that level of maturity and know how to be a teammate, he's learned himself, and now he's turned into the player he is today. And it's just people like OBN don't have that experience on their team at all.
Right, yeah, I see what you mean. They need a kind of more mature leader, is what you're saying, someone to show them the ropes.
Yeah, that's where it comes down to COD being so much more about just shooting your gun.
Yeah.
And being good at the game, because you've got to be able to function in a team to succeed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have that sort of mindset. They just think they just get on and play COD and that's it, but that's what sets apart the best pro players to people just below them. There's so many different components to it, and obviously everyone I'm still learning so much, and I'll learn a load more when I'm 18. But for now, there's 3 of us, me, Detain, and Gizmo, maybe Disray as well, are more experienced, with more mature teams, and we so that's more that sets us apart from people like OBN. And I think the thing with Bulldog is their raw talent, and the way all 4 of them play together. They all have the same play style, so there's not really an issue there. But I think people like OBN, TD, just don't have that edge. Whereas Bulldog have the edge of the raw talent, and we have the edge of the experience. Because I feel like if we go 0-2 down in a series, you're never out of it. We're fine.
Yeah.
Whereas if OBN go 0-2 down, they've lost their head. They're not even. They're
clocking out.
Yeah. Because at the start of the game, when it was me, Gizmo, Detain, and Disarray, there was 3 tourneys straight that we went 0-2 down in the final of an EGL and reverse swept OBN.
Yeah.
And it's just we'd go 0-2 down and we think, right, we're fine, just new series, and that's the mindset that separates us.
You're just playing a best of 3 in a weird order, but you got to think of it like that, really, don't you? You don't worry about the last 2 maps. Like, sure, you might be tilting, but it's all about that composure to be a good teammate.
Yeah, there's and that's what I love having people like Brad on my team for, like Fusions, because he's just so open to learn and get better, and that's someone I really love working with when we get the chance to, because obviously we don't get the chance to scrim a lot. So yeah, that's the difference, I think, mainly.
I think, as well. I think from Brad's perspective as well, if you're given an opportunity such as he's been given, there's the opportunity that Henry and Johnny have been given before, like we've stated, to play with people who they kind of invite you into their circle, right? And they kind of say, right, well, we'll teach you the ropes if you're willing to put in the work. And if you have that work ethic and you're willing to do it, I think that's a really refreshing change of pace, because it's something you don't see a lot from a lot of these different teams and players. I mean, if you just look at the teams that are cobbled together from different components, which don't necessarily have someone who's been playing for an extended period of time, like if you look at OBN or you look at even further down the order, like any of the other teams that you can think of, I'll even put an aspect of my personal youth team in this, is like, they've all been playing for about the same amount of time as each other, right? They haven't got anyone in there who's had a different experience to anyone else, who's had any different experiences. They've all come from the same place. They all know each other. It's their circle, right? And they're all going to compete against people outside that circle. And I think it's interesting that you have to make the best of those opportunities when they come, because they don't come very often. Is what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we've brought Brad in to teach him the ropes at all. The guy's got it.
Yeah.
The guy knows what he's doing. He's good enough. It's just more
like tweaking, like gameplay, like tweaking. It's like teaching him how to play as a team.
The team play aspect that you don't necessarily.
We played with him for 2 days, and he turned around and said to me and Jed, I don't feel like I'm on the same wavelength as you guys as a sub, because he's not used to playing with 2 aggressive subs that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Compared to his old team,
he had to be the one who was making the plays. Really, he had to be that playmaker on OBN.
Yeah. Whereas it's like when we said to Johnny, when Johnny teamed with us, he was all like, he felt like he needed to make the hero play. Yeah. And he was always, it was if he didn't know how to play in a team, wasn't it, Joey? Happened in S&D a lot.
Yeah.
We had to teach it. We had to say to him, look, you've got 3 other teammates, man. If you need something, say it. If you want help, say it. It's not like we're going to turn around and say no. You know what I mean? That's what being in a team's about.
Yeah.
And it's not about 4 individuals on a map. It's about helping each other and being a team. So, like, there's just little stuff like that I think Brad will get better with us.
It's just a matter of time. Is what.
The talent's there, man. The guy's nuts. Like I've said, he will go far if he takes his opportunities. And the thing with Brad was he didn't want to open himself up outside of his circle, which is why he didn't want to leave OBN for so long. And like, it's about just making friends with new people. So when he does turn 18, and he can go far.
Yeah.
It's not like, unfortunately, it's not about just being good at CoD anymore. You have to make friends. You have to open yourself up to new circles, and there's so much more to it.
Gosh.
All right, Brody, have you got anything to add to that before we move on, or?
No, that's pretty much everything said.
All right, I don't
think I have any good insight from me on that.
Yeah, I think we went into that one quite a bit, and we'll transition almost seamlessly on the topic of Brody, who's been in a bit of bother this week, catching a bit of flack from people for saying a few different things. But it did establish a question, something that I put out earlier on, is I'm very much on the same wavelength as you guys as a player, in a sense, as I am always looking to improve my casting. Now, what a lot of people don't do is look back and watch their VODs when they play CoD, which is, I always say it for you, Alex, when I'm casting you, is that you're always asking me to upload them, etc. Because that's happened. You want to look back at it, and I do exactly the same. I record everything I cast because I want to look back and improve on it. So there was a question asked by the Esports Universe, which said, how important is the role of players in their interactions with casters, streamers, and tournament hosters? I don't really know exactly in what context we're going to put what parameters that importance is within, but Brody had a bit of a running in with a few players this week. In terms of, I can't quite remember what it was about, but the interaction with casters and talent generally in tournament organisers, how is that for you guys as people who've seen it from a professional perspective, with now moving into the 18+ scene and seeing it and in this amateur frame of mind that we've got currently?
I'd probably say it's more beneficial for casters.
Right.
Because obviously, from me talking, like, just before when we were speaking about our team situation before the Val, like, you guys don't see.
No, we
what
don't. We
goes
don't get
on.
an insight. No.
Yeah, well, you guys don't really see what goes on in our teams. Whereas when you're on stream talking about it, we see everything.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a difference there.
I think it's a win-win for everyone. Like everyone can help each other. Like we just ask for information, like ask for feedback. Everyone will give feedback. Like say if you, like you're casting our gameplay or whatever. Well, on our old team we used to do it all the time. Whether I think it was like EG League, whatever. And who did we play? I think it's OBN. And we wanted to watch our series back. We asked you to upload it and just go over like VODs. Then there's just stuff like that. Or you could tell us, like, say if we got like I was just saying, I don't know, like a coach, or say like if you were to coach us in a scrim, and not as necessarily like teach us what to do, but like just watch over us and tell us what we did wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm getting Codcaster, we could ask you for that, or like vice versa. If you want to tell us, like, ask us what you think you did, like could have commented on, like in casting or something. It's feedback. It helps everyone in the end. And
Yeah,
definitely.
I've had
chats
with George before.
I think.
I've had. Yeah, go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say it puts us acting more as a community. What you're saying there, Joey. With like we say that we're a community, but really we're very divided in the sense that like you have casters, you have your players, you have your organizers, you have your tournament organisers,
yeah,
whatever.
Like the circles are so like tight. You know what I mean? Like no one wants to add new people in. That's one main problem with CoD esports. I don't know if it happens in other esports. I don't really. Well, I follow CS, but I mean, I don't.
It does happen. It does sadly happen in CS. Like there was the difficulty. It's actually very similar now. I think about it to what you were saying with when Johnny came in and when Henry came in. They didn't really want to like stick up for themselves or like rise to it or challenge or come with any debate, whatever. Is that when Fnatic in CS picked up the most recent player Golden. Like they had to literally, because obviously you're playing with JW, Flusher, and Crims, who are three of the most
fucking eight.
Three of the most gloried champions of all time, and he's trying to in-game lead these legends, right? So he's coming into this team, and they literally have to sit him down and tell him, just tell us what the fuck to do. You're the in-game leader. Stop being scared of us. And then it was just, it's like that. He finally did it. I mean, he's pulling it off now, isn't he? Like he's winning back-to-back events, yeah. But that's a sort of similar metaphor. Anyway, we'll go on to what Alex was going to say. Or is he
what was I going to say?
What?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Well, wait,
what were we talking about before that?
We were talking.
Joey was talking about caster player relationship.
How we can help each other.
Like after tournaments, I've had chats with you, George.
Yeah.
And we just talk about this the scene, and you'd ask me what sets you and Bulldog apart, and we'd have chats about it. And the difference is the more we talk, the better your casting will be, because you'd have a better understanding of what goes on in the scene.
Exactly.
And you have a better understanding of how each team's weak and strong points.
Yeah.
Because it's all good watching one series of a team and seeing they were really good that S&D or they were poor that CTF, but you don't know whether that was just a bad map for us.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you wanted to come spectate our scrims, you'd learn more about the team. Whereas if it's as simple as that. If that connection was made, it benefits everyone.
Yeah. I think to be fair, there have been moments where I've got feedback at least from players, and that's nice, actual constructive feedback. Geordie's given me some.
I put a tweet out the other day actually asking for constructive feedback, and I got quite a good bit.
It's nice to actually get some response, but it's just sometimes I think players don't like being criticised. Lower level players do not like it at all.
I think it's more of like you have a voice, whereas like they wouldn't have a voice. You know what I mean? So like you can say stuff which they can't. If that makes sense, because they don't get
the thing is, as well,
they just get jealous.
We can get so heavily flacked on stream in front of 300 people, which is, to be fair,
in a chat. To be fair,
in terms of that, like, we can relate this into what happened the other day. Like, I think Cryptic was tweeting out about Quinn casting the EEG. Now, as much as I like Quinn and everything about him, like, there's obviously still some ground to be made. He hasn't been a caster for long, so he's definitely got some time to make up on that. He's got, he's quite behind on myself, Brody, and Dan. But I think he's doing a good enough job. But obviously, receiving like slander in this
it's not nice.
It's rough to feel. And I DM'd him about it, and he wasn't particularly happy about it. Like he was a bit. I wouldn't necessarily say hostile, but he was very defensive about it. But either which way, that's what I'm trying to say. Like it links back into the criticism thing, the constructive criticism that we were talking about earlier. I think it is important though, because often we just get flack for it's just straight up flack. There's nothing we can take from it. It's just insulting more than anything. Especially when remember Brody, when the P10 guys came after us for predictions or whatever.
The P10 the problem with the P10
What
guys
was
with the Aerox.
the Air on the podcast about
Davey,
Aerox and
Terry
TD
Davies'
with
opinions on
Davey.
the podcast.
And I had to sit.
That was that
I had
one.
to sit
I
down
wouldn't
with.
listen to any of them.
I had to sit in a Discord call with about 7 of them, and to be fair, once I sat down with them or whatever, they were all very respectful. They listened to what I had to say, and they asked some really good questions and whatever. So there were some nice guys. There was a lot of stuff I could take from that, but it's just like it's just like initially that brute slander that I just got for agreeing with something that it's not my opinion. It's not something that I'm saying. I'm not speaking for someone else. We get a lot of that. And
I don't get how anyone can like criticize predictions. Like everyone has their own predictions. And it's like
not Nostradamus.
Some predictions are stupid. Like you're gonna predict, I don't know, like
Brainstorm 2-1.
Something like that. Like, you're probably joking, but I mean, like if someone's seriously predict something like that, it'll just be like stupid. And but a prediction at the end of the day is like it's an opinion. Like no one can get like stupidly mad over it. But then you get like I don't get like people I like you would just make me laugh at that Reese guy. He's controversial. Fucking I can't say a word. Fuck off.
we know what you mean. Yeah.
But he just chats a bunch of waffle all the time, and it's annoying. But he's funny at the same time. Then you have little Twitter gangs just going at it, and it's annoying. It's just like that's where like immaturity comes like through. Like it helps no one. Though. Yeah, it just helps no one. It doesn't help their brand. It doesn't help like the Cast's brand. You get slated all the time. It just doesn't do anything for anyone. Yeah. It just wasted time.
Half of those people, whatever they say won't affect what teams like us, like our teams think. Because from the first series that I know George casted us, I've always said I've liked him as a caster. I think he's good.
Thank you.
I think to be fair, there's always been a difference actually. The majority, this is genuinely, the majority of people when we've talked about casters, Bulldog, Cryptic, OBN, teams generally speaking in like the top 4, top 5, top 6. Yeah, I will say it. They've said they enjoy us casting their games.
You don't chat a waffle like some other casters chat a waffle of whole games of gameplay. But you chat gameplay, then you chat like out of gameplay, out of the game. Like you focus on the game in game, and my other casters will just sit there speaking to each other, having a laugh mid game. It's like, what's the point? Because if you're gonna cast. What
is that? I remember from like the Val IW season where there was just 2 casters on stream just making like awful jokes and stuff all the time.
Might have been me. So
no, it wasn't. It was like what might not have been Val. It was like there was 2 casters who weren't even casters. They were just put on stream.
Cast one Val season, but regardless, I think below that though, you get teams who can't take criticism. So teams that you can put in predictions like you're going to be top 8 or whatever. You're not going to.
Like now we're a top 14 or whatever.
And then they'll be like, now we're top 14, and they can't take it as a criticism or take it as motivation to get better. They just go, well, you're a shit caster and you're wrong.
And everyone's built differently, but I just think people like that just take it as a personal attack. Like they just can't like move on from it. Like just an opinion at the end of the day. Like it doesn't affect you at all.
No, I agree.
I don't know. People are just light skinned.
Yeah, millennial snowflakes, right? That's what we all are. But that's the thing, it was what was it? Was it Slacer or Viral or something who at the start of the season was consistently trying to push the premise that they were a top 4 team, or they were the 4th best team distinctly behind Cryptic, Bulldog, and OBN.
I know for a fact that we had Viral. I'd say 100% the Viral, and I'm not trying to push my own orchid, don't worry. But when Wazza and Rebounds were under Brainstorm Thunder, it was them and Viral 4th and 5th team. Just below Bulldog, Cryptic, and OBN, and that was so apparent.
But there was just a lot of chat and just pure shit, honestly, about who is where and whatever. And I understand that, and it does in a sense. Like obviously, me and Alex and a lot of the guys, me and myself and Brody, we have a good relationship with a lot of the top teams. I speak to at least one person from each of the top teams regularly, whether that be to sort out who's Axis allies or vetoes or whatever, or even just to chat about what's going on in their league games or whatever, just so I can get that insight. But you know, there's so much attack from people lower in the scene, or well, not sorry lower, but people who haven't necessarily had the same placements or the same success.
I'd say it's fair to label them as top 8 and top 12.
Okay, yeah. I'd agree with that.
I would say lower, and I'd say lower because it there's a reason that they're giving you that sort of flack, because like when you think about it, you're not getting it from the top teams.
No.
So
And generally, it's the people we cast who we get the good feedback from, and even the constructive criticism. The people who we don't cast as much, like those we'll call them second-rate teams, like B-tier teams, whatever. Do we do
oh god, this is going to be another cast where I'm going to sit with Pete.
And even the thing as well is like I've seen this again, time and time again, even with players. Like there's been players who are at the top of the game, like absolutely caning you every single time they play you. But at the end of the day, you're still going to get torn a new asshole by this group of idiots who are just like, oh yeah, well he's a dickhead, so it doesn't matter anyway, does it? He's not exactly winning, or he's a con warrior. Like, are you complaining because you're salty that you've lost, or are you complaining because he's actually a douche? Like,
I don't get why people are so bored about where their team's ranked. Like,
I've never. No, I didn't even know there was like some fourth and fifth clash between Viral and.
It doesn't matter. If,
it's really something just constructed for storylines.
The only thing that mattered to me was top two, and then we all know my problem with OBM when they were playing for third.
Yeah.
Then people are sat there actually playing for like top 8. Like, come on, man! If you're gonna like compete, then compete to win. You know what I mean? Don't rank yourself as I'm one higher than you. I'm the 4th best team. Just forget about all that and try and be the.
They need the
best.
validation.
Yeah, I think it's just you're trying to compete in a small scene. To be fair, I think for those teams, it's kind of inaccessible to get to the top 3 or the top 2.
No, it is.
As it was at the start. I mean, it isn't factually.
I wouldn't. Yeah, hypothetically, it's not.
Factually and hypothetically, not at all inaccessible. But I think the way that it's been this season so far, with Bulldog winning all 3 of the first, we'll call them majors, because that's what
the finals have all been events cryptic.
Yeah, cryptic. I mean, it is really hard for teams to understand that.
I would say, us and Bulldog are top 2, but obviously after the first 3, well, we didn't compete in the esports sub 1, but the first 2 they've won it, but. And they would only just edge us at first.
Yeah, if you were to give it like a rating, I'll say we're both like around like say like a FIFA card or something. Both 90 rated clubs.
I wouldn't say first and second. I'd say both top 2.
Yeah,
it's never a blowout. Like it's always
it's always a close game. The only series that's ever been a blowout is that one. It's not even really that much of a blowout. The games are all tight. It was just a 3-0. It was that second best of 5 in the Val.
Like that Val. That was honestly free money. That was a 3-1. We were 3-0.
But you were sick as shit.
Would have been a 3-1. I was literally throwing up. The next day I woke up, I threw up about 5 times in the first 5 minutes of me waking up, and I was feeling like pre-sickness the day before. All week, lightheaded and everything. I couldn't eat anything because I just throw up. We 3-0'd them. Was it 3-0? Yeah,
3-1. 3-1 in the winners bracket.
Yeah, 3-1.
It was 3-2. It was 6-5 last month.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, it was. You're right.
3-2. Then it should have been a 3-1. In the other thing, we had the best map in the whole of game. Like I don't think we've ever really lost that map. That's just been like a 5-point game. And I'm just sat there dropping 8 bombs because I'm throwing up. Like that would have been like a free win. Then if we won that, that would have been it.
That was that we won the flag tile, and we were literally sat there thinking, right, that's it. Yeah. This is it. We're gonna win this map. And then that happened, and then the last S&D I think was Doc's S&D or something, and then
that's just like
we all know what Genesis is like on that map. The guy's nuts on that map. And then this is what when the other podcast was on and Dan was doing it, and he was like speaking to Detain about how does it feel losing 2 best of 5s. But the thing is, if you lose that first best of 5, it's so difficult to win the second. It's like the momentum, especially maybe at LAN after you've had a long Sunday. But this is an online tournament. You're in the comfort of your bedroom. You know what I mean? There's no like sort of fatigue that comes into it. If you win that first best of 5, you've got all the momentum, and it's so easy to just stomp the next one 3-0. And like whoever won the first series was winning like the entire finals.
Always.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we take that Forest, then we win it straight up. But if they I think. As much as I hate to say it, as soon as we lost that Arden's Forest hardpoint, I was like, yeah, that was where we were meant to win it.
Right.
Yeah.
If we were going to win that series, it would have been on the Arden's Forest, and we didn't.
Like every time I've ever played Kez, I've said this all the time. But every time we played against Bulldog, I've always just kept killing Kez consistently whenever with an AR, because I'm an AR, he's a sub player. I'm just killing him over and over again. But when I was sick. He raped us. He ran through our team.
That was the only time that I've ever seen Keza have it. Like I've always noticed, it's always been notable that whenever we've casted Bulldog versus anyone else besides Cryptic, Keza has been he's lights out, absolutely lights out, just railing everyone. When he's against Cryptic, it does feel like you can cage him a little bit. He's still insane.
Yeah.
But it's definitely there's a cage factor.
It's like I've always matched up against Kez well because I'm I've used to be a sub. I can gun him and he can gun me. But when I'm an AR against a sub, I win the gunfight like 80% all the time. And I always match up against him. If you shut Kez out against Bulldog in like any respawn, it's a free win.
Then it's just a question of whether they can one of the others can just step up for a little while. Isn't it?
That series, that Sunday, that guy played out of his skin. I've never seen him play so well in my life.
If I'm ill, I can't do that. Then I've got to rely on Ewan, and then Ewan, he's a different player to me. He's a much slower player.
Yeah.
And whereas a much aggressive AR, like much aggressive and much more. I focus spawns more than Ewan, I would say. Then he might disagree with that, but I think I do. So if you're main AR, I've always said this, you can get away with like one of your sub players shitting a bed, but you can't get away with your main AR on spawn shitting a bed. Like obviously you won't get any spawns, and you're always hitting it through your front. So like the biggest pressure on the team is the main AR. If the main AR shitting a bed, and you've lost this, like the map straight away. You can't win a game without if you're main AR.
If your sub's like if your sub can like go neg, but if he's got the engagements, he's putting the pressure on the map. Whereas if the AR's job is to convert that pressure into more kills and control, and if he's not doing that, then the whole system just falls apart.
Yeah, I completely agree with that sentiment.
Yeah.
Kez just put you can't gun me, Joey.
Yeah, it's
unless your sub's having like just an absolutely incredible game and he's just taking over the map and doing everything.
Well, I'll give it to him. Like he played out with his mind in that whole thing, but then I think I have an excuse there because I was literally throwing up like consistently. Yeah. Whereas in my mind, that's our best map in the game. We literally for the same day we 90-point clubbed them on it.
Yeah, you did the winners bracket final.
Like that any other day, on my opinion, I think we will like rape them again, or literally a 90-point club again on that map, because that's literally our bet. We work that map so well, me and Ewan, that we have so much like synergy, like on working spawns, and him like I don't know, we play together on that map like really well. And I don't know, that's one series that really pisses me off. I think if we went back and played that map again, but like everyone's helping and whatnot, I think we win that.
Yeah,
and then
win that.
Then that might force Fred to stay on because he wants to prove something instead of like leaving to go with his girlfriends. And
that map could have changed a lot of things. Yeah. I don't think we'd have kept the same roster, and then I'm not sure what Bulldog would have done. I think they'd have kept Fred because there wasn't anyone else for them to get.
I think Kez would have Fred would have had motivation to play because he would want to prove something. Well, at least from my perspective. Like
I don't know. If Fred wouldn't have gone, then if Fred would still have gone, then who do they get after that? Like that's it's a different rabbit hole completely. Yeah. Maybe they get Brad. Maybe
when I spoke to Kez about it, he said, well, we wouldn't have got anyone else. We wouldn't have got rid of Fred if Joey wasn't coming.
Yeah.
So they just wouldn't have dropped him.
Yeah.
And unless you got like an 8+ like Cammy or something to come down.
Yeah, it was more of a mutual agreement, I think, that Fred went. Whereas, but if they didn't have anyone else, I think he'd have stayed. I'm not 100% on that, but I think that was the thing. I think that was if Joey didn't come, Fred would have stayed. But the fact that Joey was there and he was leaving our team, then it was the right choice to make.
It was a gift for them, really.
Yeah. It's like at the time, me and Desiree or Ewan had beef. Like we were just. After that, we just sort of fucking went at each other.
Like, but you hashed it all out, I suppose, is the point now. I bet you're better friends for it.
I've been teaming with him for 6 years. Like, we always go, every single COD, we go for a period where we just hate each other, and then we go for a period where we love each other. Then, like, at the moment, we're loving each other, playing CFEs every single day for like 8 hours a day. Whereas, then, like, in a month or something, when he turns 18, I'll probably rip him for ditching me. Then we'll hate each other. Then, like, a month later, he'll come back to me, and then we'll be best mates again. It always happens to me and Ewan. So, I think at the time, it was just, like, a wrong timing, like, in a friendship way, where we just went at each other. Then
I think you'd both had enough of each other as well, because you'd been with each other for so long in a pressured environment, and then when we didn't get the result we wanted at LAN, it was just pointing fingers, and it didn't really go. It didn't end well. So that happened. That's done. That's gone. But that's the reason.
I think we departed a little bit from that question, but I think we'll move on in a minute anyway. But regardless, so I think inclusion. I think it will be good for everyone, for players, casters, and we didn't talk about streamers and tournament hosters, but
feedback helps.
Feedback helps everyone, and I think the scene could improve massively. I'm talking about the youth scene specifically. I think it's getting better anyway. You have to look at the positives, right? The fact that we had, I know it's such a small amount in talking about esports in general, but the fact that we actually reached 300 viewers for that Valve Season 2 playoffs was just sick for us.
In the current COD climate.
Yeah, given how people don't like COD. And
under 18 COD is really good. Like,
Yeah.
we have like a backing of like an MLG or something for an 18+ team where you get like instant viewers, even if you just whack a stream up with a bunch of bloody goons on it. Whereas like, I don't know, you've been doing this for 2 years now, I think. I don't know if you did it back to 3. I don't know.
I did a bit in Black Ops 3 on Xbox, and that was about it.
I've been casting for a year and a half now. That
must be like that must be nice for you guys to see it's growing. And
for me, it's been sick because it's been such a short period of time, and I've seen so much progress, and that's the motivation for me.
I can definitely agree with that. I think that the fact that this scene is growing and it's getting better. I mean, fair enough, it might not be that relevant per se in terms of how I guess it's connected.
I'm hoping
to
it
the
operates
18+
as a springboard.
Yeah, obviously, I kind of do hope that despite what has been said, it could eventually be used as 18+ players starting to look down on it. And obviously, like you say, now that 18+ players are starting to play with under 18s in Money 8s and stuff like that, it might potentially be so. I mean, obviously, we also had like, pros and stuff come into the stream. Swanee was there. But I think the scene's going to improve, and if it's going to improve further, it needs to be done so off the back of feedback from players to casters to players, tournament organisers, streamers. Everyone, I think, needs to be working together. At the moment, it might not be like that. I kind of don't think it is.
Well, I've spoke to since Esports Universe started up. I've had loads of talks with them.
Yeah.
They ask me things about the community, and they'll come to me and say, what do you think about doing this sort of tourney? They were
with the Easter Cup,
they're in the middle of setting up some S&D league in comparison to like S&D tournaments in comparison to the free respawn ones. And I turned around and said, well, I don't think that would go down as well.
Yeah,
considering we're all respawn teams and like just little stuff like that. And like Val, where I don't know if you've seen on Twitter before when I've had issues with Val. Like with being forfeited in league games and stuff, and the way things worked, and they just turned around and said, just come into our team speak, have a chat with us, and I've gone in, had a chat with them, we've all sorted it out. And,
they're all sound guys. They're all sound guys as well.
So the effort from both of those tournament hosts are there, and they're more forward in making positive changes.
More proactive, would you say?
Yeah. That's the word I'm looking for. And it's the right direction, I should think, because this esports universe hasn't been around for long, and they're doing really good things, to be honest. And going back to your point about the 300 viewers in the Val stream, the prize money is always a really good
motivator.
That's big.
Because if you advertise it as some €3,000 league finals. That's interesting to anyone, isn't it? Really,
there's weight on that, there's like something on the line,
and there's storylines for the teams as well. And you're already talking about the fact that it's booked well. I'm not saying it would be in season 2. I'm not going to say that it will be 100%, but you go into season 2 and season 2 finals, €3,000 on the line, Bulldog versus Cryptic, and there's so much to talk about. You're jumping straight into it, and as casters, me and George get so much to talk about as well.
I know. The Val playoffs as well. In terms of like the quality of mine and Brody's casting, I look back at that playoff constantly and just think that is the best that we've done together.
Me and Alex always like have a little like inside joke. We call you Big Boss. Like,
I've seen that.
Going to cast the games, like we just like it. Like,
it's nice.
We've always enjoyed your casting.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it a lot.
And
Brody,
Boss head is growing right now.
Inflated,
guys, I'm here too. Come on.
I'll give you the gas. Yeah, and the thing that I like is you know what you know and you know what you don't know. You don't try and talk about things you don't know.
I'm not going to try and overextend because it makes me look like a retard.
You know your boundaries, and what you do know, quite well. Yeah. So you'll always put in a good input on it, and you've got a good casting flow. Same as Brody, to be honest. I didn't really know. I only really knew much about boppers, but like this Val playoff's just gone, and from what I watched when I watched like the OCL or whichever or the ESPU, whichever the last one you casted was.
Yeah.
I noticed that there's been loads of improvement, and you've made an effort to learn the game. And as casters, you're just constantly going forwards.
I've been trying to even like coach my team just to see like I can get more of an oversight, like communication and all that stuff back in my head.
Hard work and dedication, it's there. So
I think we'll round it off though with a bit of an obligatory section, which just because it's the Esports Universe podcast, we've got to talk about that Easter Cup that's coming up. Well, me and Brody will be doing the first week, and then it'll just be me. Yay! I might get signed
that was
into it.
that was supposed to be a surprise. I'm not technically here next week, but I am.
But he is
now.
here.
So now everyone knows that I am
Whatever.
actually going to be here, and it's not that bad.
Whatever. We got the first 4 teams that have been invited, which is obviously both of you two, Bulldog and Cryptic, followed by OBN and TD. Top 4 invitational, I'd say that's all right. Now, I don't know if the qualifiers have been and gone as of yet.
They're this weekend.
They're this weekend.
They messaged me about it today. They asked if we were confirming our spot in it, and I said, "Is it not this week? It's not this weekend, is it? Because I'm away at
No, it's not this weekend. Yeah, it's not this weekend. I'm casting the Friday. I'm coming home early from iSeries on Friday about 7:30 in order to cast it, and then there's no matches on the Saturday or Sunday, so I'm just staying at iSeries all week for that. But we will be good for that one. And so out of all the teams in the qualifier, we got, obviously it's an 8-team invitational. 8-team invitational, 4 teams invited, 8 qualified, right? So how are you seeing this one panning out in terms of obviously the league? I think it's a round robin. Everyone plays everyone once. So how are you? How are you seeing everyone? How are you seeing everyone who's going to come out of qualification? What 4 teams would you like to see, or what 4 teams are likely to be seen?
I'll be honest, I couldn't name 4 teams.
It'd just be a 4 who's already got spots, I guess. And if OBN get like a team, I guess like.
If OBN completely like out the door at the moment.
Well, I have no idea. I haven't spoken to them.
I know Stubbs is trying to get a team, and I have very much, I no doubt that he'll get one. Like some team, whether it be another lower league, like another lower team, like Viral or whatever. I'm not saying they would, but some team would come in and fill in for OBN.
Well, it depends what team. Like if it's like the call of Johnny, Geordie, and Cryptic, and then I guess then OBN would keep that spot on the top 4, and the 4 that's already been invited, I guess, will be top 4.
I don't know if Henry comes back to that roster or anything. I don't know.
Maybe not. Saying that Team Descend, despite being that number 4 team, have had a couple of upsets recently in the EG regular season because Zealous beat them.
I don't think you can take that too seriously. I don't think you can. We lost a league game the other day. And we went 0-2 down. We didn't really care. And we gave them the win.
Yeah, I mean to be fair as well. I guess carrying on from that, last season G-Lab, everyone was talking about how good they were, and they absolutely shit it in playoffs.
The other day,
yeah. Like you lost to G-Lab in season 1. I remember that, and everyone was making such a big deal out of it. And I got a lot of flack at the start of season 2 for saying that I didn't think G-Lab were going to place top 8.
And is this by magic?
I don't see it.
Well, that Radix team didn't do well in Val playoffs either.
Yeah.
So it's a different. I think the under 18 leagues are a different ball game entirely.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, man. I don't know what it is about it.
I think it's just that difference between playing tactically and playing runabout, just trying to make hero plays and getting kills. And if you don't expect it, you're going to be shocked by it. You don't really know how to adapt. Yeah, exactly. Completely. Yeah, you're right. A completely different ball game.
Yeah, we played in the Val playoffs, and we went we went 0-2 down the second round to that Singularity Esports.
Yeah.
Right.
They're actually a very good team. They've got as an organisation, they're very well established. They've got a Danish CS team that plays tier 2 Counter Strike, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we reverse swept them, and that could have been our tournament right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like that, and we still managed to come second. So, there's people there, that can cause the upset, and get close to it, but as it stands, for the Easter Cup thing, I'm not too. I would like to see Glab join it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's Glab, Zealous, OBN need to get a team. That's 6.
If they don't have any more, that's not to worry. I don't. It's not specifically a youth thing as well. So if any 18+ teams are competing,
OBN can just carry their 18+ team in.
Hypothetically speaking,
the games.
And I mean, look at it as well. In terms of a format, it's nothing like an actual league. It's one set of round robins, and then you go straight into a playoff bracket. It's a quick 2 weeks, quick easy cash grab, anything like that. It's going to be it's a different format definitely, but I think it's going to be one that's a bit refreshing. Now, with it being a 2-week thing, there's often teams which I've seen that come in and out of good form. For example, we had Creddy in the Val playoffs who just had a strange run, a crazy good form, and they haven't been seen since. They've gone completely missing in action.
Split. To be fair,
I know, but now they're back, and even any of the individual players have gone completely missing in action. Even that 9K roster that we had.
I know that Henry was going to pull some of the Creddy players back for Season 2 before he realised that he didn't want to do it because of his exams.
Aren't they all Swedish anyway or something?
This is the difference, man. This is why people won't excel, because they've just had an amazing run in the Valve playoffs. What they
and then they split.
Top
and
4,
then
is
a better
it?
team.
They've
And
just
it didn't
split.
work.
It's like they've
fair.
got that placement, and then they've all felt they're entitled to something.
Yeah.
As if, like,
But now they're back at least, and I kind of think if I had to predict anyone to come in for this Easter Cup, I kind of think they may actually shock a lot of teams and come back. People have probably forgotten about them since their Val run.
But this is the point I was trying to make, though, was with it being 2 weeks, can we see anyone just have a flash in the pan, like, freak run of success and then, like, just tail off?
I mean, it wouldn't be surprising per se. I mean, Team Descent have had flashes where in the past where they were actually performing very well. I think they beat Bulldog at some point, if I'm right in saying that.
Yeah, but that was like I can't remember who it was. Someone was completely lagging out or something like that.
Joey.
Yeah,
was,
I don't know the exact details, but Team Descent still won that matchup.
That's when JC was lagging everywhere.
Yeah, that's the one. JC was lagging out.
Regardless, they won.
Sorry, they have potential. They just need to knuckle down. Let's focus up, then they can get far.
I think they got Billy as well, which is the closer. Like the driver.
I mean, you would say this the other day. That Billy kid, if there's an AR that actually gives us problems in game, it's him. Like he's a good player.
Did really well last season, didn't he? In IW.
If there's a time to beat us in Bulldog, it's in this Easter Cup, because like Joey said to me, like if you're gonna beat us, it's gonna be now, because we aren't scrimming. But like at the same time, neither is my team.
I mean, I don't take this the wrong way either, but I'd quite like to see that. I'd quite like to see like Team Descend or OBM come up and actually win matches. Not because like I want you guys to lose, but because it would be nice to see a team that isn't you or Cryptic, like perform.
I agree. I wouldn't like to lose, but I would absolutely love if there were like 2 more teams
that gave you a good run for your money. At least.
It's like, I would love to see fucking, like, because I'm not a part of it now, I would love to see them lose to TD, just give us an easier, like, final or something. It's like, and they'll probably think the same here. Like, everyone loves, like a team to be, like, a good team. Like, when, like, Glad were playing Alex's team the other day in that playoff, I know they weren't, trying, like, fully hard, but they got beat, and I had a little smirk on my face, because we just played them, like, an hour before and beat them. So, it just gives you, like, self-confidence, like, you're better than them, like, if you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know. Everyone likes an underdog, so.
Yeah, definitely.
It'd be nice to see those kind of storylines come out for the Easter Cup, and of course they will do next week. Hopefully, we'll have some of the lower level teams come up and really shock the 4 invited teams.
I want to see more out of Zealous. I think
Zealous now that they've got Furious, I think are back on track.
You think? They'd have a nice upset this week, didn't they? They had a 3-1 win against TD.
I think they're a good little team, because like they're like 4 players that have been playing with each other for like a year or something.
Yeah, it's like every Freddy.
Every time we've played them, it's made us pick up our controllers and actually start talking.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not someone you can mess around against.
Can't take them lightly.
Same as TD. Like at the start of the game when we played the EGL Cups, we used to lose to this Wazza and Billy. We just think, the fuck are these guys, man? What the fuck's going on here? Are we losing? And I'd be like walking into every gunfight half-heartedly, getting just rinsed by Wazza. I'm like, what's going on here, man? And then it's only now recently over the last couple of players I've actually noticed they're actually a good team, and we need to take them seriously, because I mean, like when it comes down to it, the reason these teams don't beat us in playoffs is because we take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And like
I think there's also an element as well, like what you were saying with TD, if they could, Joey, if they do upset Cryptic, is that if they get to that point where they take Cryptic in that one series. Do they have
or
to,
us, like,
or you, either which one? Is it like, they just their mindset just becomes like, we've done it, but then they still got another series to play against what can be a potentially better adversary.
Just use that motivation, then. Just use that motivation.
Do you think that there's teams that will just drop it off? You know, have just like burn all their energy on that one series, and
I think they'll burn themselves if they were to beat one of us. Probably, if it was a semi-finals,
You think they can beat one of you but not 2? Is what you're saying?
Say if we were already through to the final and they had to play Bulldog and they beat them like 6-5 last map, that's them burned out. You know what I mean? There's no endurance in a team like that because they haven't got the experience.
But do you think it could be there? Like, for example, and again, just to mention that the Easter Cup is only 2 weeks. That's the beauty of it. It's a short flash in the pan season.
For both of our teams, it's on us to make the mistake. It's not so much them having a really good series. It's not about. It's more about us having a bad series, I think.
Right.
And I think that's what it would like for us right now. With I think both of our teams are slacking. It would be fair to say, wouldn't it, Joey?
Yeah.
It would take a loss like that to really get our asses in gear.
Yeah, and then you just come back through the losers bracket again. I'm not saying you would, but like this is what you're saying.
Even if it's not that tournament, the next one, you know what I mean? We'd have to really get our asses in gear and start putting the time in again. Because I think we're both a bit complacent right now, because both of us just think, oh well, we'll just go to the next playoffs and it'll be us two in the final again and we'll see who wins, kind of thing.
All right.
Yeah. Whereas it really is gonna take someone who shouldn't really be beating us to win for us to get our asses in gear.
I'd agree with that. All right then, I think we'll close it out there. We won't get into the I-62 talks. We haven't really got enough time. I think that one's going to be a pretty clear case anyway. I do think it, just as a passing comment, it is quite nice to see an international event in England. Hey, we've actually got.
Finally.
Remember last year I went to CWL Birmingham last year, and there was not one North American team there.
Yeah, it's glad. I mean, it's nice to see European. I reckon European teams will smash some American teams and really shock them on home turf, because North American teams are so entitled. They're not even used to having.
I've seen the complaints from the North American players coming to the UK. Like, these boys are out here doing this shit like every other week. Like, come on, get it together.
Aches was worried about Birmingham. No, I think Nameless was saying that Birmingham's like a shithole, and Aches was talking about air conditioning. Got to be some of the most pampered people I've ever met.
You don't need air conditioning. You don't need air conditioning in England. It bloody rains all the time. Yeah. There's no need for that shit.
To be honest, I don't think that. I don't know. I don't think anybody that's not supposed to win this weekend won't. As for open bracket, it's a lot of people's first events, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's a lot of people's first events. Yeah.
So, I think I've got some of the teams that you wouldn't expect coming out of the open bracket, maybe coming out, like Movie Star Riders. Maybe they come out and shock people. Like, I just think some European teams might get some one-ups on American teams who.
I
think you'll see more of like your the old most wanted team that went to Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
Zed, Quicker, and that. I think you'll see them come out of open bracket.
Lightning Pandas, first top seed in open.
Yep, I think you'll see Lightning Pandas come up.
It'll definitely be Lightning Pandas, 100%. They're like some sick team that should be a pro log team right now.
And then
GGA.
maybe GGEA Purple.
Orange, maybe?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that if they've had a pretty lackluster season so far. That's no offense to them.
Yeah, the placements, the talent's there and the teamwork's there. I think the placements just haven't been. I think if it's going to be an event that they'll turn around, it'll be this one. Yeah.
I think maybe this is where it starts. And I know this is a bit off topic when it's talking about open bracket teams. I think Epsilon will actually start to get their asses in gear now.
Yeah, I think.
You think Birmingham's going to be a revival for the boys, Dave and the boys?
Yeah. No reason not to. They've had a bit of a rough start with it.
Well, they won this event last year, didn't they?
Didn't give a shit, we'll say. So I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think B Sport has lost an event in Birmingham. Like, I don't think B Sport has lost an I Series event in ages.
Right.
But as for like that Radix team, as much as I would love for them to go and do well and make it to pools,
they won't make it to pools.
I don't see them making it to pools. I see them doing quite well.
Yeah.
Maybe like a top 24.
I'd say top 28 or top 32 is realistic. I don't know how many teams that could be.
When you think about it, that's three of their players' first events. As well as they've been playing online, it's a different ball game. You know what I mean?
Their bracket would be too hard.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the bracket. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see. But it all depends on how they take to LAN, really.
I think I'm looking towards European teams to have a better event than we usually do with Americans here.
Definitely.
I think Unilad will have a good event. I think they will have a good event.
I reckon Splice will probably win the event.
I'm concerned about Splice in a sense that they missed playoffs, but I think they can regain for Birmingham. I think this is like
they'll win their group easily.
This is them now. They have to prove themselves here. They need to regain after not making playoffs and losing to E United. They need to regain right here, and they need to like pull out this event, like get a top 4 or something.
We'll have to see, because I think there's a few issues going on there, but that's whatever. But I think I can see Red Reserve win top 2 again.
Brody's got them to win, don't you?
No, I think Red Reserve will win.
I wouldn't put it past them, to be honest. I think if this is the event they're going to win, it'll be this one. You know what I mean?
This one, yeah. Home turf. There's no reason why they couldn't win it. They've already beaten the numerous teams. I think they 3-0'd Luminosity last event. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to do it again.
They're a team that are already getting better as well.
I don't think this is interesting. I don't think Luminosity will get out of their group.
Really?
I think they'll be dropping to losers bracket straight away. I think because Splice will beat Red Reserve, because Red Reserve don't do well against Splice. I don't know what it is. They just don't.
Mental block.
Splice have always been the best European team on turf until like in Black Ops 3 season it was the other way around. But like here, Red Reserve, no, like they're not going to do well against Splice, but Red Reserve will still beat Luminosity. It'll come down to like a 3-way tie in that group, and I think Splice and LG will come out on top. I don't think Splice and Red Reserve, will come out on top. I don't think LG will actually come out on top in groups. I think it'll be tight, but I genuinely think Splice and Red will probably take that group.
Okay.
So I think EU teams will probably have a really good event.
This needs to be like a renaissance for youth European teams. This needs to be.
Yeah, did I say youth team? No,
you said European. It's me stumbling on my words. This needs to be a serious renaissance for us, though. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that can go down this event, and it's looking really good for us. Obviously,
and I don't think it's more about the European teams turning up. I think it's the Americans who won't really adapt to the travel well.
That's what I said. I don't think it's necessarily just getting better.
Has a European team ever won an event in Europe against North American competition, or other way around? Yeah, we have obviously with the
Splice. Splice won stage 1 playoffs.
That was North America. We're talking about North American.
You're on about like back in the day,
because we had G-Finities were rioted. The only time I remember. The only time I remember a European team getting close to a North American team at a European event was TCM in Gfinity 1.
Well,
and
ESPU every year is always
Splice
close.
Splice
came second. Yeah, you're right.
Splice came second. That one time.
I was thinking further
was that
back.
2014 or 2015? No, I think it might have been 2015.
If there's gonna be an event where they do it, it's this one.
Yeah, it is this one. I think it has to be. It's mainland UK. I don't think we're going to get a CWL London or anything like that. London's just way too expensive in terms of like the production that CWL wants to put into a UK event.
Well, like they said it's already difficult to get the team out there for MLG.
Yeah.
They've got a complete different team this time, so like for them it would just be way easier to keep it in their studios.
Me and Brody are still waiting on our invite, you know. No, we're kidding, but. I understand what their premise is, but I do think if I saw a tweet from Maven, which was like,
you were talking about his hot mic.
No, not his hot mic. This was just a tweet that was like a European player or something was saying that we need more events in Europe, and then because it's not fun for these North American European players to travel to North America or whatever if they want to watch or whatever. You know, and then he just replied with, "How do you watch the NBA on TV?" Is the obvious response.
I hate.
And
I'll be straight up honest. He's such a.
Okay, I don't hate Maven, but they are honestly MLG are trying to stir controversy by making him the villain. Like they don't have a Thorin, they don't have a Richard Lewis in CoD. There's no one who's really going to call out a team and be straight up brutal. So they're trying to make it Maven.
I just think.
I don't really.
No one watches the fucking NBA in England anyway. Like it's just a bunch of lanky kids dunking on people.
It's just an American thing, but
people do watch the NFL in England. But if you look at the majority of the, I do personally. But like, if you looked at the majority of their viewership, it's Americans. It's not international at all. So
I do feel like they are marketing themselves towards the American vernacular, though. I think there definitely does need to be a focus on Europe.
If you're going to market yourself,
I think you've already peaked in America. You've already peaked. I think you've hit your ceiling. I think there's definitely more to be found in Europe. Look at all the best esports in the world. You look at the top 3, League of Legends, CSGO and Dota 2. Where is their main fan base? It's in Europe, Central Europe.
Going up.
Well, when you think about it, if you remember when Heretics made pools in Atlanta, the fan base in Spain is nuts. I mean, I've experienced it firsthand. I went to an event in Spain. And
the French crowd is always famed for being sick,
French people fucking love it, man. Like, that's where you'll see all these big orgs, like the Millennium org has had people like Swanee, Tommy in their teams on, and then they had Marky B's team on the following year.
Yeah, with Quicker and
it's these French orgs that have moved over to the more talented UK teams, whereas if like Vitality, if Vitality were to like start like really making noise.
They have done, to be fair, with Vitality. They had like Vitality Storm in like 2015, which was a great roster. That was like the #1 European team.
So that was with Tommy though. I'm pretty sure that was the UK team. If that Vitality team or the all French team now were to pull off like a fucking top 6 or top 4,
or just even like something crazy, like even something as small as a top 8 would be okay.
If you think about it, this is like way out. Like this isn't gonna happen yet. But imagine if Vitality were in the grand final against Optic or something. You see that's like almost all of France.
That's the build there. That is right there. That is the platform. That is the beginning of French Call of Duty.
And the same as like Spain, where the MLG stream the difference in like Charlie compared to Alpha when Heretics were on Charlie was
my
like
days.
it was nuts because everybody in Spain was watching it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fan base is there. The teams just aren't. So like
I agree,
it's a case because when you think about it, in other esports, the players are from foreign countries with mainland
UK
Europe.
sucks
Sweden
so
and
much
what?
ass.
Yeah.
Sweden, France, Bosnia, Slovakia, Russia.
Everyone in Sweden
Yeah.
watches CS.
Yeah.
And
They all
everyone,
love
like
CS.
most of the good like top pros are from fucking Sweden. Like,
Sweden,
Denmark,
Norway,
like-
all the
They're all
Nordic
Nordic,
countries,
the
but
Nordic
they all
regions,
would like
they're-
play PC games. Console never really took off over there.
Yeah, it's because they branch out like that. They're going like I think CS have like an event like within a week or something. They're going to Turkey or something.
Yeah,
Like,
there was
yeah,
there
like-
was one recently in Budapest in Hungary.
Yeah.
Like, why are you having an event in
Had one, they
Budapest?
had like a sort of like a World Cup sort of thing. I don't know what it was. Loads of
Oh,
national teams playing in
WSG
China.
in China, yeah.
Yeah, like yeah.
And
loads
now,
of, like,
in a few weeks' time, you got DreamHack Masters Marseille. Like, of all cities, you're not even picking Paris or anything like that. You're picking Marseille, and it's going to be fucking massive.
Jeez.
DreamHack events are always something to marvel at, aren't they? Really.
ESL as well. I think they're clear industry leaders. And I remember when, what was it, Black Ops 3? Did ESL take over? MLG weren't even in with Activision. That was the thing that happened, right? I didn't think that was too bad.
ESL did Black Ops 3.
Because we had machine casting, didn't we? And he was an ESL contracted caster at the time. I thought he was quality at CoD, by the way.
In IWMLG bought the rights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They bought something to do with it.
Well, it's because Activision bought them, and then it was like Activision Blizzard now have MLG, so why not utilise that and take control of your game and potentially franchise it next year?
Well,
George, I'm not gonna lie. I need to go pee. I've needed a pee for the last half an hour.
Well, we'll end the stream though, I think. If Alex got a last point.
I'll make this quick then.
Yeah.
Go on.
The way I've seen it is Activision have made Call of Duty their casual game, and then they've developed Overwatch as their esports game. So I don't think they've really cared about Call of Duty as much. Where
yeah.
it's
think, like-
so simple to just change that. The amount of stuff they could do so quickly.
Oh,
and
100%,
so simply.
100%.
I think they do the right things. They just take too long to do it.
I think that you can make so much money out of it as well, making Call of Duty
Yeah.
esport. I think it's
Right,
a very
that's-
accessible esport to everyone as well. Everyone knows the Call of Duty franchise. Everyone can understand the game. It's pretty simple to understand as a viewer. You can tune in as a first-time viewer and get it. I think.
George, can I let you finish
just
the
go,
stream?
you
I
go,
need
you go,
I need to
you
wee. I'm gonna wee something.
Just go, dude. Right. Yeah,
I think we'll see at the end of next year, fucking when we champs whatever, like, the contracts up and it's 3-year cycle.
Yeah.
And it's
The third, yeah.
yeah. So
We go
make
back
sure
to
we'll see if they
Xbox,
invest
boys.
more in esports or not.
Yeah. Well,
Black Ops 4 game's just gonna be make or break. Really, it's as simple as that.
we said that about World War II though, with the boots on the ground. I think if Black Ops 4 is, I think the formula has to be boots. I'm afraid. I just think it's better in
Yeah.
terms of
Yeah, yeah, it has
competition.
to be.
It levels the playing field a lot. The inconsistencies and the idiosyncrasies of the game are gone. I think. Anyway, we'll end that one there then. We'll let that remains to be seen. We'll discuss that one on a later podcast or whatever when we get more information. It becomes more apparent. Anyway, as always, thank you guys for tuning into the stream today. We've been actually live for over an hour and a half now. This has been the longest one we've done. We usually aim for about 40 minutes, but we just had so much to talk about, and it's been great actually spending some time with these two wonderful gentlemen as well. Obviously Brody, who's now having a Waz. So just thank you guys for you two coming on. Thank you for your time. It's been a bit of a long one, I know, but it's been well worth the discussion. It's been very insightful for all of us. So thank you as always for coming on, and we'll see you next week. And I don't know who we have next week. I think guests still yet to be confirmed, but make sure to check out that Easter Cup coming Friday. And if any of you go into iSeries, we'll see you there. Peace out.